They thought Earth would break under their first strike. They were wrong. Humanity's wrath had only just begun. Watch as one woman general leads a fury the galaxy will never forget. And don't forget to subscribe for more legendary HFY tales.
They thought striking Earth first would break humanity. They thought our cities would crumble, our fleets would scatter, and our people would kneel before their might. They were wrong. The first explosion tore across the skies of Earth's largest cities, sending shockwaves of fire and panic that reached even the remotest corners of the planet. Families vanished in an instant, entire populations wiped off maps, and the screams of the innocent echoed across orbiting satellites like a haunting warning. Yet in the midst of chaos, in the heart of the destruction, humanity did not bow. Humanity did not break. Humanity began to burn brighter. At the center of that burning was a woman whose name would soon be etched into the annals of galactic legend. She had watched her world shatter, had seen the lives of millions snatched away in a single cold strike, and yet her eyes, sharp and unyielding, did not falter. Every flicker of flame, every cloud of dust, every fallen building became a testament to her resolve. They had underestimated humans once, believing our greed and complacency would blind us to danger. Now she would make them understand that humanity's fire was not only unquenchable, it was vengeful. She spoke to the surviving leaders of Earth's forces through a broadcast that rippled across every surviving network, every hidden bunker, every fleeing settlement. Her voice was calm, yet every word carried the weight of unbroken defiance. "You hit Earth first. Now we're coming for you," she said, her tone slicing through the panic like a blade. Those words spread faster than any missile, faster than any fleet, and humanity heard them not as a threat, but as a promise that the terror inflicted upon us would be repaid, and that we would rise from the ashes stronger than ever. The Galactic Empire had expected fear. They had expected surrender. They had anticipated that, facing annihilation, humans would scatter like frightened prey across the void. They were wrong again. Across Earth, underground bunkers transformed into command centers, engineers, and scientists scoured wreckage for materials to rebuild, soldiers trained in the art of survival rather than destruction. Every human who could hold a weapon, every mind capable of devising one, every pair of eyes that had witnessed the Empire's cruelty became part of a vast network of resistance. It was a human web of resilience, growing tighter and stronger with every passing hour. She walked among them, though none could see her in the flickering shadows of ruined streets and shattered labs. Her presence was felt in the way soldiers lifted their chins higher, in the way engineers refused to stop working despite fatigue and grief. Every human alive sensed that she carried the embodiment of their collective fury. Plans were drawn, fleets hidden in asteroid belts, weapons adapted from scavenged alien technology, communication channels encoded in a way no intruder could decipher. This was not just survival, it was preparation, and every action was a step toward revenge. The first strike had been brutal, but it had a consequence the Empire had not predicted. It had unified humanity. Former rivals, competing nations, divided factions, even outlawed colonies joined under a single banner. Her command was not just tactical, it was symbolic. Every order she gave was a spark, and the sparks ignited hope, courage, and a relentless determination. Humanity was no longer the species to be toyed with. We were a force to be feared. Not because of the sheer size of our armies, nor the sophistication of our machines, but because of our willingness to endure, to fight, and to rise from the devastation with a ferocity that no conqueror had ever imagined. In the quiet moments, she reflected on the lives lost, on the millions of humans erased in what was meant to be a swift, terrifying message. Each life was a wound in her heart, but also a fuel for the coming storm. She knew the galaxy had watched this first strike and assumed victory. The alien leaders, arrogant in their superiority, believed they had crushed a fragile planet, extinguished a primitive species, and secured their dominance. They were wrong. Every calculation, every assumption, every estimate of our capabilities was shattered alongside our cities, and they would pay for every misjudgment. Orders were dispatched for reconnaissance missions into enemy space. Scientists worked feverishly to reverse engineer weapons that had annihilated entire cities. Pilots trained in simulators designed from salvaged data, learning maneuvers that pushed human skill beyond known limits. And all the while, the woman general watched, guiding, inspiring, demanding perfection, tempered with boldness. Fear had no place here. grief could not paralyze them. The Empire's arrogance would become its downfall, and humanity's pain would transform into a weapon sharper than any laser cannon or warship. Communications from Earth reached distant allies and colonies that had been previously ignored or thought too minor to matter. They answered the call without hesitation, sending fleets, troops, and engineers across the stars. Humanity was no longer just a single planet. It was a rising storm across multiple systems, bound by vengeance, resilience, and an unyielding belief in its own strength. Every survivor understood the stakes. This was not just retaliation, it was a lesson. The galaxy would learn that humans, when pushed to the brink, did not retreat. We advanced, we adapted, we destroyed. The Empire had struck first, confident in its might. They had seen only chaos, expected fear, anticipated surrender. They had underestimated us, yet again. And as the woman general stood before her forces, her eyes scanning the network of hidden command centers, bunkers, and orbital stations, she knew the next chapter had begun. Humanity's reply would be swift, precise, and merciless. The first strike had lit the spark, and now the inferno would consume everything in its path. They had hit Earth, but they had awakened a force they could never hope to contain. And the galaxy would soon learn, in blood and fire, that humans do not forget, do not forgive, and most of all, do not surrender. Humanity refused to wait for the Empire's next strike. The woman general understood that revenge was not born from hesitation, but from preparation, precision, and unwavering courage. She mobilized every capable mind, every skilled hand, every willing fighter. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and pilots converged from the ruins and hidden colonies, drawn together by the unspoken knowledge that humanity's survival and vengeance depended on them all. What the Empire had thought to be scattered and weak, the general was forging into a coordinated, unstoppable force. In laboratories carved from the wreckage, human minds worked at a pace no alien bureaucracy could comprehend. Weapons designed for defense were transformed into instruments of retaliation. Missiles, energy disruptors, and warships were rebuilt with enhancements far beyond the original specifications. Every device, every piece of technology was scrutinized, tested, and improved with human ingenuity and creativity. They adapted, modified, and innovated with a speed that the Empire had never seen, producing results that were as unpredictable as they were deadly. The woman general selected her commanders with care, choosing those who had endured the worst losses, those whose courage had been tempered by grief, and whose tactical brilliance could rival the Empire's own leaders. Each commander brought unique strengths. One had survived a battle that had destroyed an entire fleet, another had deciphered alien communications in record time, while another could pilot ships through asteroid fields with precision that defied logic. Under her guidance, they became more than individuals. They became a network of human brilliance capable of acting in perfect unison, striking where the Empire was weakest and exploiting every flaw. Training became an obsession. Pilots endured simulations that pushed the limits of endurance, testing their reflexes against scenarios no alien mind could anticipate. Soldiers trained in guerrilla tactics, ambush strategies, and zero-gravity combat, turning human adaptability into a weapon. Engineers and scientists were pushed to produce faster, better, smarter innovations, using salvaged alien technology as a foundation to build something entirely new. Every human, every unit, every team understood one thing. They were preparing not just to survive, but to punish, to retaliate, to make the Empire regret underestimating Earth. Communication became a silent weapon of its own. Codes were created that could pass through enemy sensors undetected, messages that conveyed complex plans in seconds, and warnings that allowed human forces to act before the Empire could respond. Every channel was fortified with layers of encryption, every transmission masked by decoy signals. The aliens could intercept numbers and symbols, but they could not intercept the human determination and ingenuity embedded in each calculation. Humanity's unity was invisible, unpredictable, and devastating. The Empire watched, unaware of the true scale of what was forming. They assumed humanity had been wounded too deeply to fight back effectively, that we were a planet on the verge of collapse. They were wrong. The woman general turned the very ruins of Earth into a proving ground, transforming destroyed factories into advanced weapon assembly lines, abandoned cities into strategic command hubs, and decimated fleets into hidden armadas ready to strike at a moment's notice.
Every corner of human civilization became a weapon, every person a part of the greater plan. Morale, once fragile under the weight of loss, became a tool of power. The general spoke directly to her people, addressing the soldiers, the engineers, and the civilians alike. Her words were concise, sharp, and electrifying. She did not promise safety, she promised action. She did not dwell on despair, she focused on capability.
"The galaxy believes we are broken," she said. "They are wrong. Every human who survives carries a spark. Every spark becomes fire, and that fire will consume them."
The word spread faster than any fleet, reaching hidden colonies, remote stations, and scattered survivors. They became a mantra, a rallying cry, and a bond that connected humanity across light years. Humanity's ingenuity extended beyond weapons. They developed new methods of surveillance and reconnaissance, probing deep into enemy territory without detection. Data gathered from these missions allowed the woman general to predict movements, anticipate strikes, and identify weaknesses in the Empire's infrastructure. Every mission was a calculated risk, every victory a lesson, and every failure a stepping stone toward ultimate success. The aliens could not understand it. They had relied on brute force and fear, expecting humans to respond in predictable ways. But humans did not conform. Humans adapted, improvised, and evolved faster than the Empire could calculate. Every preparation was fueled by vengeance, but also by pride. Humans were not simply defending their home. They were reclaiming their honor. Every strike, every innovation, every plan was imbued with the knowledge that the Empire had made a mistake that could never be repeated. Survivors told stories of resilience. Engineers celebrated small victories of invention. Pilots laughed through near-death escapes. In every human heart burned the certainty that the next move would belong to them, and it would be decisive. The woman general watched over all of it, a silent conductor orchestrating a symphony of human brilliance. She knew that the time for revenge was approaching, that the Empire would soon face the full force of humanity's fury. But before that could happen, every weapon had to be perfected, every fleet coordinated, and every human ready to strike with precision. The Empire had hit first, but they had awakened a force greater than they could ever comprehend. Humanity was no longer fractured, no longer scattered, no longer defenseless. Humanity was a storm gathering, and when it hit, the galaxy would tremble.
In this time of preparation, hope and fear intertwined. Humans mourned, but they did not stop. They worked through exhaustion, through loss, through the constant pressure of knowing the Empire could strike again at any moment. Every human became a piece of the larger plan, every action a step toward inevitability. The Empire's arrogance had given humanity an advantage they could never have earned otherwise. Clarity of purpose, unity in action, and the knowledge that they fought not just for survival but for vengeance. As fleets were hidden in asteroid belts, weapons calibrated to perfection, and human forces spread across multiple systems, the woman general addressed her commanders one final time before the retaliation began. Her voice was steady, her eyes unwavering. "They believe they have broken us. They believe we are weak. When we strike, they will see the truth. Humanity does not bend, humanity does not yield, and humanity does not forgive." Every commander understood that this was not a warning, it was a promise, and the galaxy would soon learn that it had underestimated the most dangerous force it had ever encountered. The moment for retaliation had arrived. Humanity would no longer wait, no longer rebuild in secret while the Empire assumed victory. Every fleet, every soldier, every weapon had been tested, refined, and prepared for a single purpose: to make the galaxy understand that Earth would not forgive and would not forget. The woman general issued the orders with precision, her voice carrying authority and unwavering resolve. There would be no hesitation. There would be no mercy. The first strike was surgical. Humanity targeted a critical Empire stronghold, one that controlled communications and supply lines across multiple sectors. The Empire had assumed that such a strike was impossible, that humans lacked the audacity to confront them head-on. They were wrong. Fleets emerged from hidden asteroid belts, warships that had been upgraded with alien technology, equipped with energy disruptors capable of disabling shields within moments. Missiles with unpredictable trajectories tore through defense grids, catching the Empire entirely off guard. Pilots executed maneuvers that no training manual had ever recorded. They darted through space with speed and agility that the Empire could not anticipate, weaving through asteroid fields and gravity wells with flawless coordination. Every move was calculated, every attack synchronized. Humans had learned from every mistake the Empire had forced upon them. They had turned fear into strategy, loss into determination, and survival into a weapon. The
The first salvo hit hard, and the Empire realized too late that they were facing a species far more cunning than they had imagined. The woman general coordinated the strikes like a master tactician. She anticipated every countermeasure, every possible reinforcements, and every escape route. Alien defenses were bypassed not by brute force, but by ingenuity. Mines disguised as debris detonated at the perfect moment, intercepting reinforcements mid-flight. Decoys drew enemy fire while humans attacked from unexpected angles. Every strike was not just an act of destruction, it was a message. Humanity would not just fight back. Humanity would dominate the battlefield through intelligence, creativity, and sheer audacity. Onboard warships, commanders relayed the general's orders with unwavering focus. Every human knew the stakes. Every ship, every fighter, every weapon became an extension of their collective will. Engineers on the fly recalibrated energy grids to overload enemy shields. Soldiers boarded disabled ships, turning captured technology against the Empire itself. Communication lines once thought secure by the aliens were infiltrated, and the humans transmitted false commands that caused confusion, hesitation, and ultimately, chaos. The Empire had assumed superiority, and humanity made them pay for that arrogance in full. Amid the chaos, humanity's losses were few compared to the Empire's shock. Every engagement was precise. Every attack exploited the enemy's weakness. Alien commanders, confident in their superiority, found themselves reacting instead of acting, scrambling to respond to a force they had underestimated at every level. Their fleets were fragmented, their communication networks compromised, and their morale shaken. Humans had turned their own hubris into a weapon, and the results were devastating. The woman general remained calm, her focus unbroken, even as explosions lit up the void and alien ships disintegrated around her forces. Her presence, though unseen, was felt in every coordinated strike, every perfectly timed maneuver, every surge of determination among her soldiers. Humanity fought not just for survival, but for vengeance, for pride, for the countless lives lost in the first strike. The intensity of their resolve became palpable, a force that no alien fleet could measure or anticipate. Ground teams also executed precise operations. Humans infiltrated key outposts, seizing critical supplies and neutralizing vital infrastructure. Alien soldiers who believed themselves invincible were outmaneuvered, outsmarted, and captured. Technology once considered impenetrable was hacked, disabled, and repurposed within hours. Every human who participated in the operation understood that their actions were not random. They were a demonstration of superior adaptability and courage. Humanity had become a weapon in itself, a collective force of intellect and instinct fused into unstoppable precision. The general's fleet struck with speed and unpredictability. Ships that had been considered obsolete performed impossible maneuvers, outpacing alien interceptors and delivering crippling blows to command centers. Missile swarms, carefully coordinated, penetrated shielded zones, and energy disruptors created openings for the fleet to exploit. Within hours, the Empire's stronghold was devastated. Communications failed, supply lines collapsed, and the once imposing fleet was scattered, broken, and humiliated. The first strike of humanity's revenge had succeeded beyond expectation. Yet even in victory, the woman general demanded discipline and focus. The operation was a message, but it was also a test. Humans were learning to fight together, to anticipate, to innovate, and to strike with efficiency and intelligence that the Empire could never match. Every victory was a lesson. Every enemy casualty, a reminder of human capability. This was only the beginning. The Empire would regroup, but humanity would be ready, stronger and more united than ever. The first strike was not just retaliation, it was a declaration. Humanity had returned to the galactic stage with power, strategy, and determination that no force could ignore. As the dust settled, the Empire's leaders convened in panic, unable to comprehend the speed, precision, and ferocity of the human counterattack. Their arrogance, their assumptions, their belief in their superiority had blinded them to the true nature of the species they had attacked. Humans did not fight like others. They adapted, they improvised, they persevered, and above all, they fought with a unity and resolve that no alien power could match. The galaxy had witnessed the first retaliation, and the message was clear. Strike Earth, and humanity will strike back with a force you cannot comprehend, with ingenuity, courage, and vengeance that knows no limits. The woman general addressed her commanders once more, her voice steady over the encrypted communications. We have sent a warning they will never forget. Prepare for their response. Humanity's fury has begun, and it will not stop until justice is served. Every commander knew that this was only the first act of a larger plan. Humanity had revealed its power, but the war was far from over. The first strike had shattered expectations, but the storm was only beginning to take shape. And when it hit, the galaxy would finally learn what it truly meant to awaken the wrath of Earth.
The Empire struck back with a fury no human had ever witnessed. Entire systems trembled as fleets descended upon colonies, annihilating everything in their path. Cities that had survived the first wave were reduced to smoldering ruins. Starports were obliterated before supplies could even arrive. The Empire believed that overwhelming power alone would break humanity's spirit, that relentless destruction would force surrender. They were wrong. Humanity had learned that pain was not weakness, but fuel. Every loss became a reason to fight harder, every casualty a spark to ignite a greater flame. The woman general coordinated Earth's defenses with unmatched precision. Human fleets, though smaller in number, moved like a single entity, striking with timing and efficiency that confounded the Empire. Her orders were concise, direct, and lethal. Every maneuver exploited the arrogance and assumptions of alien commanders. What the Empire perceived as chaos was, in reality, a calculated web of counterattacks, ambushes, and strategic retreats designed to lure the enemy into overextension. Humanity's response was not reaction, it was anticipation, and it was deadly. Every soldier understood their role in the unfolding war. Ground teams reinforced colonies under attack, engineers repaired infrastructure faster than the aliens could destroy it, and pilots executed maneuvers that defied expectation. Humans adapted in real time, using debris fields, asteroid belts, and abandoned stations as shields and traps. Each tactic was designed to turn disadvantage into advantage. The Empire's overwhelming force was met with ingenuity, precision, and unshakable resolve. Humans did not simply fight. They transformed adversity into opportunity. Even as devastation rained down from orbit, civilians contributed to the war effort with courage that rivaled any soldier. Scientists and engineers risked their lives to modify weapons and repair ships under fire. Pilots volunteered for impossible missions, knowing the odds of survival were slim. Communication networks were rebuilt within hours, and hidden stockpiles of supplies ensured that humanity could continue to resist without faltering. Every human became part of the larger strategy, united under the leadership of the woman general, and bound by a shared purpose: survival and vengeance. The Empire unleashed advanced warships equipped with devastating weaponry, confident that humanity could not withstand their assault. They targeted supply lines, command hubs, and civilian populations alike. Yet every attack met a human countermeasure. Missiles were intercepted by adaptive energy fields, enemy fleets were lured into trap corridors, and vital targets were evacuated or disguised. Human ingenuity turned every weakness into strength, every disadvantage into a weapon. The Empire had expected fear. They found only calculation, bravery, and resolve. The woman general anticipated the enemy's strategy with uncanny accuracy. Every strike by the Empire was countered by precision attacks, ambushes, and rapid redeployments. Alien commanders, who believed in their superiority, found themselves reacting rather than leading. Their overwhelming numbers became a liability as humans exploited every structural flaw, every predictable move, every assumption they had made about Earth's capabilities. The very tactics designed to crush humanity instead exposed the Empire's weaknesses, which humans exploited with ruthless efficiency. As casualties mounted on both sides, the woman general ensured that morale remained unshakable. She spoke not of fear, but of purpose. Every soldier knew that their struggle was not merely to survive, but to demonstrate that humanity could never be defeated, no matter the cost. Humans held their ground, fought with ingenuity, and adapted faster than the Empire could predict. They proved that superior technology alone was not enough to crush a species determined to endure, evolve, and retaliate. Communication networks became both shield and weapon. Humans intercepted enemy transmissions, feeding false intelligence into the Empire's command structure. Decoy fleets and fake signals forced alien forces to make fatal mistakes, revealing vulnerabilities that humans exploited immediately. What the Empire perceived as chaos was a deliberate strategy, orchestrated with precision by the woman general. Humans had turned deception into a weapon, showing that intelligence and adaptability could outweigh raw power. The Empire escalated, attempting to overwhelm Earth's defenses through sheer numbers and destructive capacity. They targeted critical infrastructure, aiming to crush human coordination and morale.
Yet humanity responded not with panic, but with methodical retaliation. Ships hidden in asteroid belts launched precise strikes. Sabotage units disabled enemy systems from within, and adaptive defense grids absorbed or redirected assaults. Every counterattack was faster, smarter, and more devastating than the last, demonstrating the relentless evolution of human strategy under extreme pressure. Amid the chaos, the woman general remained the unwavering center of command. Her presence, though unseen, was felt in every coordinated strike, every tactical decision, and every surge of determination among her forces. She guided humanity with clarity, ensuring that each response was calculated and effective. Casualties were honored, but they were also reminders of the stakes. Humanity's resolve hardened with every attack, transforming grief and loss into a weapon sharper than any alien artillery. By the time the Empire paused to assess the situation, they found themselves fragmented, exhausted, and confused. Every assumption they had made about human weakness had been shattered. Humans had turned desperation into opportunity, fear into calculation, and loss into a reason to strike back harder. The galaxy began to recognize a simple truth. Humanity was not only capable of defending itself, they were capable of overwhelming any force that underestimated them. Every system the Empire had believed secure was now a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and resilience. The woman general addressed her commanders over the secure network, her voice calm but resolute. They believe they can break us with fear and fire. They are wrong. Humanity adapts, humanity survives, and humanity strikes back with a force they will never forget. Every commander understood that the battle was far from over, but the Empire had already begun to feel the cost of underestimating a species that refused to surrender. Humanity had faced overwhelming retaliation and emerged not just unbroken, but stronger, smarter, and more united than ever. The Empire had learned a lesson they would not soon forget. Strength alone could not defeat humans. Every system they destroyed, every fleet they sent, every attempt to crush humanity only hardened our resolve. The woman general had proven that humans could fight, not only with technology, but with creativity, strategy, and an indomitable will. The galaxy had witnessed humanity endure an overwhelming assault and respond with precision, intelligence, and unstoppable fury. And now, the final stage of revenge was approaching, a reckoning the Empire could not hope to escape. Humanity had endured the Empire's wrath, adapted to its strategies, and turned every attack into a lesson in resilience. Now, it was time for the final reckoning. The woman general knew the moment had come to unleash the full might of Earth's response, a force that would echo across the galaxy and redefine the meaning of fear. This was not a strike born of anger alone. It was a calculated, relentless, and inescapable demonstration of human superiority. Every fleet, every pilot, every weapon was positioned with meticulous precision. Hidden armadas emerged from previously unseen sectors, cutting off retreat routes and supply lines. Missiles armed with adaptive energy disruptors streaked across space, targeting capital ships and command centers with unerring accuracy. Humans had transformed desperation into strategy, improvisation into innovation, and survival into an art form of war. Nothing the Empire had ever faced could compare to the storm about to descend. The woman general coordinated attacks like a maestro conducting a symphony of destruction. Each strike was perfectly timed, each maneuver deliberate, each decision backed by the full force of human ingenuity. Alien fleets, confident in their superiority, were caught in a web of traps, ambushes, and feints. Supply lines were severed before they could reach front lines. Communication networks were flooded with false intelligence, and defensive shields were systematically dismantled. Humans had become an unstoppable force, relentless in execution and terrifying in precision. Every human soldier and pilot acted with unwavering focus. Ground teams sabotaged key installations, engineers deployed adaptive weapons faster than aliens could counter, and pilots executed maneuvers that turned gravity wells, asteroid belts, and spatial anomalies into tactical advantages. Each victory fed the next, creating a cascade of success that left the Empire scrambling for answers. Every strategy the aliens had relied upon now worked against them, a testament to the creativity, courage, and intelligence of humanity under pressure. The Empire's command structure began to fracture. Alien leaders who had expected a defeated planet found their forces scattered, their defenses compromised, and their morale shattered. They were no longer the hunters. They had become the hunted. Humans struck where the Empire was weakest, exploited every flaw, and anticipated every move. Every battle, every engagement, every maneuver demonstrated a terrifying truth. Humans were not merely surviving. They were overwhelming the galaxy's most powerful force with intellect, strategy, and sheer willpower. The woman general's leadership was felt in every corner of the battlefield. Her voice carried over encrypted networks, not to give orders that could be predicted, but to inspire, to direct, and to ensure flawless coordination. Every fleet acted as a single organism, responding instantly to threats and exploiting opportunities. Humans had mastered not just combat, but the orchestration of war on a galactic scale. Every move was a demonstration of adaptability, precision, and relentless pursuit of victory. Casualties were honored, not mourned, and they fueled the determination of every living human. Each sacrifice became a driving force for the next operation, a reminder that humanity fought not just for survival, but for vengeance, pride, and the unbreakable bond that connected every planet, colony, and survivor. Humans had proven they could endure unimaginable loss and emerge stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than before. The galaxy had witnessed humanity survive devastation. It would now witness humanity dominate. Alien technology, once considered superior, was turned against its creators. Captured vessels were repurposed, disabled systems were exploited, and adaptive weaponry was enhanced with human ingenuity. Every device, every ship, every strategic asset became a tool in humanity's arsenal. The Empire had assumed their weapons made them invincible. Humans proved that intelligence, creativity, and determination were far deadlier than firepower alone. The tables had turned entirely, and the galaxy's most feared power was crumbling under the ingenuity of a species it had sought to destroy. The woman general issued the final coordinated commands, each one executed with ruthless efficiency. Fleets converged on key enemy strongholds, bypassing defenses, neutralizing leadership, and dismantling command networks. Energy disruptors incapacitated warships within moments. Boarding teams captured critical technology, and ground operations cut off all remaining supply chains. Every attack was a message. Humans do not forgive, humans do not surrender, and humans do not yield. The Empire had underestimated Earth, and it would pay in ways it could never have imagined. As the last enemy bastions fell, the galaxy witnessed the full scale of humanity's revenge. The Empire's fleets were shattered, key leaders eliminated or captured, and communication lines disrupted beyond repair. Systems that had been under alien control for centuries were liberated, restored, and fortified by human ingenuity. Every corner of occupied space now knew the terrifying reality. Humans could strike with precision, adapt faster than thought possible, and endure any assault while planning the next blow. Humanity had become a legend not just for surviving, but for prevailing against impossible odds. The woman general addressed the galaxy through a broadcast that reached every sector, every survivor, every observer. Her voice was calm, unwavering, and commanding. You believed Earth could be crushed. You believed we would kneel. You were wrong. Humanity survives. Humanity adapts. Humanity conquers. And humanity will never be underestimated again.
Across star systems, the message resonated, leaving no doubt that humans were not just survivors, they were unstoppable.
Humanity celebrated victory, but not recklessly. The fallen were honored, technology was preserved, and lessons were recorded for the future. Every triumph carried the weight of sacrifice, every success the reminder of those lost. But the message was clear. Earth and its people had faced the galaxy's might and responded with unmatched courage, ingenuity, and force. The Empire had struck first, but humanity had returned stronger, faster, and deadlier than ever before. The galaxy had witnessed a force unlike any other. Humans, united under the leadership of a woman whose vision and resolve had turned despair into triumph. Humanity had survived devastation, outsmarted overwhelming power, and delivered a response that would echo across generations. The first strike against Earth had awakened a species that could never be subdued, a species whose courage, intelligence, and ferocity were unmatched. The woman general had proven a universal truth. When humans rise, the universe trembles, and no power can stop them.